Right, what's going on YouTube? Trollgasms here, and we have a bandless prediction that's gonna blow your pants off. So, it's my list and another guy's list, and he's part of the channel too. And basically, I'm gonna read off his list first, and then I'm gonna read my list and explain my choices real quick. So let's go. So he made both a realistic list and a wish list. Now, I guess we can all have our own little wish list, so I'll just read off what his realistic list is, what he probably thinks is going to get banned and all that stuff. So for banned, he has Super Juve, and that's it. And I completely agree with that. That's the same for me. Limited, Big Eye, Atlantean Dragoons, Spellbook of Judgment, Spellbook of Fate, Glow Up Bulb. Semi-limited, TG Striker, Gold Sark, and no longer on the list, Agent of Mystery Earth, and Tsukiyomi. So his list is fairly short, and I would actually have no problem with this list at all. In fact, I would actually really like this list. But yeah, now to go to my list. Wonder if you heard my iPod unlocking there. That's what I typed up my list on. Let's see. Notepad. Here we go. So, for my band list, and mind you, last time I made a band list, I got about 50% of it right, so, you know. So for banned, I have Super Rejuvenation, and it goes under two categories, either banned or limited. Just really obviously, just facilitates so many unnecessarily broken plays. It's really broken in Exodia, it's really broken in Dragons, it's even broken in Heretics. It's a really unbalanced card. It needs to be at 1 or banned. I'm flexible there. For limited, I have Spellbook of Secrets, Big Eye, Infestation Pandemic. One of the banned synchros can come back, in my opinion, just to spice things up. Glow Up Bulb, Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and Vanity's Emptiness. Now, Eradicator and Vanity's Emptiness are things that you don't see on a lot of people's limited list. Vanity's Emptiness, first of all, it's a card that's been wrecking in the OCG, as far as I know. Like, have you seen the Key Beetle, Safe Zone, Emptiness, or whatever it is, whatever they're doing over there? Vanity's Emptiness is incredibly broken, and I think it's gonna get the Royal Oppression treatment. I honestly do. It's like the card in so many ways, and it's almost more versatile because you can turn it off basically permanently. You can turn off your Vanity's Emptiness just by activating a spell card, so, and it hitting your graveyard. So it offers really good control for no reason. And if you do the Key Beetle thing, you can activate your cards and Vanity's Emptiness will stay on the field. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And then Eradicator, Crush card is banned because it was really easy to use. You just set a Sangan, activate your Crush card, all that good stuff. Eradicator, it wasn't on the same tier as Crush card because it was hard to use. You had to play Dark Worlds, you had to maybe Black Wings to use it. You know, I'm just thinking of the past. More current decks, Big Eye, you had to use Big Eye. You have to use Ophion. It was just really limited in the playable monsters that you could use for Eradicator. But now, with the invention of Crazy Box, you know, that completely changes. And it's not like Eradicator until Crazy Box was just a completely off-the-radar card. Konami knew Eradicator was being heavily used in this game the moment they made Crazy Box. So with the release of Crazy Box, I really do see Eradicator going to 1 because being able to main deck triple Eradicators and just rank 4 up and, you know, do it the Eradicator thing is just stupid. Especially since you can use Crazy Box's effect and then chain the Eradicator. It's just, in my opinion, it's just as bad as Crush Card Virus. So I can see this card going to 1 really fast. My other choices, Glow Up Bulb, you know, Synchro support in general is coming back. So, and since they're trying to push plants, it would be honestly a perfect way to push it if Glow Up Bulb got reprinted in the tins or something. Because honestly, as long as they reprint Glow Up Bulb, it's such a hard to get card that those reprints are actually going to fly off the shelves. So that's why I think about that. And then the Spellbook of Secrets. Honestly, I think 2 cards in the Spellbook deck need to go to 1, but Spellbook of Secrets for me is just a really obvious one. A lot of people are saying they don't think Judgment Day will go to 1 because it just got released. I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, it's just a terrible card to be in the game, period. Because if Judgment Day was at 1, they would have 1 push, and then, you know, if they mess up, they mess up. They're on the same tier as everyone else. They're playing a fair deck. So yeah, and also a little wish list aspect to my ban list. It's not on my ban list, but it deserves to be mentioned. Putting all the baby dragons to one would make incredible sense because A, the attributes that the E-Dragons were made for would still have the E-Dragons, and they would still be able to run their little engine. And B, it would slow down the E-Dragon deck incredibly. You'd be able to search off each of the dragons once. You would once for a baby dragon. So they would have one broken first turn push, you could say, but then that's it. They can't just keep on summoning and summoning and summoning from the deck. They would either have to banish the dragons and use up their effect to summon themselves, or use the effect to search something, but then they can't just keep summoning the dragons over and over and over. So limiting all the babies would actually make the deck a balanced and fair deck. So under my semi-limited, I have Atlantean Dragoons as semi-limited because you have to remember Konami doesn't make the list completely at the end of the format. They make the list in the middle, and in the middle of this format, it was kind of the transition from the Mermail and Fire Fist, I guess, and whatever other decks were around. I kind of dropped the game for a little bit because I just wanted to take a break. So whatever was around in the middle of this format, that also is probably going to get hit, honestly. So yeah, I have Dragoons to 2 and Megalo to 2. To me, that's fair. The deck is still the deck. It doesn't lose any of its destruction power. It just loses the OTK power, which is really understandable. The deck is still very playable if that's true. Now I have Mizuki or Plague or both to 2. Obviously, zombie support coming back, and a lot of people have been saying from many formats, why are these cards at 2? And I agree with them. Now, Bestiary to 2, as much as I'd love to say this, as much as I'd love to see this happen, I don't see it happening at all, really, because it's not on the radar. Glads are not on the radar whatsoever. So everyone wants to see it happen, but there's no reason for it to happen. I mean, I know there's no reason for it to be at 2, but Konami isn't just going to randomly put Bestiary back to 2 out of nowhere. I mean, there's a really, really, really small chance, but I highly doubt it. It's not on their radar at all. They have no reason to look into it unless there's like new Glad support or something. Now, a lot of people are saying the same thing about Formula. Formula's different. Formula can't go to 2. It's completely broken. That's nonsense. Moving on. Book of Moon to 2. I can kind of see this happening, but I don't see that happening. I see Forbidden Lance going to 2, because in my list, if Pandemic is hit to 1, then Lance is hit to 2, and then Evil Swarms, all of a sudden, they have maximum 3 Lances instead of 6. And I think that's perfectly fair. And if Lance does go to 2, then I see Book of Moon coming back up to 2. So there's that. Now, Inzektor Dragonfly, this would give them back some more OTK power, but it still keep the deck at bay with the whole pop all your field BS that they had going on when they were in their prime, because having each and every one of your cards destroyed is not fun. I mean, getting OTK, there's many ways to stop that. There's Gorz, Dragodia, Battle Fader, blah 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 blah, so Scarecrow, the list goes on. But if they destroy your Mirror Force, if they destroy your Torrential, all that stuff, it's not good. So there's that. I have Gold Sark to 2 just because this card's been broken. It's been on the ban list before. It kind of comes on and off. So with the mechanics it has going on right now, I definitely see it going to 2. I also have 1 for 1 to 2 because the card isn't doing anything and it really helps the plant deck. And Burial from a Different Dimension to 2. This card hasn't done anything, and once again, it's kind of helping the zombies out with the Mizuki aspect. Gale to 2 because they're not going to bring back everything on Black Wings at once. So it's either Gale or Whirlwind to 2 in my opinion. But yeah, I see them slowly bringing this deck back. They just don't want to bring everything back at once and then have the deck for some reason take over the OCG, because you have to remember, that deck is really, really liked in the OCG. Even if it might not be the best, people are still going to play it because it's Black Wings, and they don't want Black Wings to just come back and rule the format. And then I see Drag Down going to 2 because it's just a really, really unfair card. It's one thing to play Drag Down in a deck that doesn't utilize the mechanics of the discarding, but it's another thing to play it in a Dark World deck where you can just be like, oh, Drag Down, I see your hand, oh, you see mine, but, you know, it doesn't matter because I'm going to get effects off of the cards you choose to discard, blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, I set 3 Mind Crushes. Have fun, by the way. So it's not fun. It's not good for the game. And Drag Down in itself is a broken card, so, I mean, it's draw power, you get to look at your opponent's hand, it's really bad for the game, in my opinion. And for no longer on the list, I have TG Striker and Reasoning. Reasoning came to 2 last format, didn't do anything, I totally see it going to 3. And then TG Striker, everyone wants it back, I want it back too. Plus, there's really no reason for it to be at for it to be at 1. If anything, go to 2 and then come to 3. I actually do see them bringing TG Striker back now since it's a tuner and they are pushing synchros again. So that's why it's on my list. So yeah, tell me what you thought of my list, tell me what you thought of my friends list, and catch you guys later on a future video. Peace.